Welcome to the Homie Conglomerate. We are new member Chase Kilcup and recurring member
Braden Hartke.
And today we're going to discuss our thoughts on the last Mandalorian episode and our thoughts on Star Wars. So what are your thoughts, Chase?
So first of all, I'd like to start by saying that the last episode of the second season of Mandalorian was a bit disappointing. The battle between the Moff guy and Mando was over way too quick, and was overall just kind of boring. The only thing that really saved the episode was the after credit scene, which promised a little kind of series or more into Boba Fett.
Yeah.
What are your opinions on it?
I think it's cool that Luke came back, but still that doesn't make up for the part of the episode was kind of weak and didn't make too much sense. Bo-Katan only brought one Mandalorian with her. I mean, I know there's more, and this is the Darksaber. He also gave up the fight pretty easily, and the Dark Troopers weren't really used that well. I don't think they really posed a threat to the enemies, and I don't know, I didn't think it was too strong of an episode.
To me, this episode was one of the most disappointing episodes of television I've seen in my life. The ship, terribly designed. All the characters I did not care about except for Boba Fett. And the plot overall was just kind of crap. Along with the Death Troopers that just were useless.
Yeah.
They were terrible. And I hate how this second season has introduced literal invincible armor. And it's reduced all tension, and they've started using more Marvel choreography, which is just trash. Because it's just bland, lifeless choreography, I think.
So a lot of people are mad about the plot holes this episode also introduced. The Bo-Katan and the Rebels, she's gifted the Darksaber.
Yes, I was very confused and mad, because I think that the only good thing Mandalorian has done for me is clear up some plot things and introduce new things like Jango being a Mandalorian. I think that kind of stuff is cool. But overall, I think Mando is a very disappointing show that would be better as a video game with its fetch questy episodes.
Do you think they would have known who Luke was? Because people are saying that she should have known who Luke was, the rebel girl, because he was the hero of the rebels, and she didn't know who he was.
Yeah, they definitely should have known who he was. He literally
Blew up the Death Star.
almost single-handedly destroyed the Empire.
Yeah.
And was rebuilding the whole Jedi Order. So I also wish we had seen Boba at the end confront Luke.
That would
have been very interesting. But the after credit scene is 10 out of 10 in my opinion. I'm very excited for that. It reminds me of Maul vibes from Clone Wars.
All right.
Yeah, so if you replaced the Dark Troopers with anything else, the plot would have been the same.
Yeah.
If you replaced them with normal stormtroopers, it would have been the same.
I also hate how they treat stormtroopers. And I get that they've always been bad in a way.
But they're too bad.
But they literally don't shoot in this episode. They just get beat up.
I think that's
walk into the
they literally walk into it.
And it's also the one with Boba Fett. There's 80 stormtroopers.
Even
none of them could hit one shot.
Even the Death Troopers were disappointing as they just walked into Luke's lightsabers. It was an interesting thing to have Mando actually have to deal with the invulnerability, but then he just pulls out the spear and it's just a nice plot device to destroy it.
Yeah.
Which seems weird.
I think someone should have died. I think someone should have died.
I think so too.
Maybe the girl, maybe the lady. I don't know.
The Boba Fett's
No, the rebel girl.
I think so. I don't really like her, to be honest. She's just a bland
character. Her character isn't that interesting to me. So, but
I don't
she
think
does have her
Mando
own
is
TV.
interesting.
She has her own TV show now too. The Rangers of the
I'd
New
probably
Republic.
check it out.
Yeah.
I think Mando is uninteresting and boring. I think the girl is uninteresting and boring. I think Boba Fett is cool, but he's still boring because it's the only cool things we've seen him do are as a kid in Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And pretty much every character is boring.
People are wondering if Mandalorian season 3 is actually just Boba Fett, it's in chapters.
I would like that better
because it's the same release time, and so there's now a release of the two being two different shows. So we don't really know if it's one show, and maybe Boba Fett takes because books.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big book of Din Djarin, and then he comes back later. We don't know.
I talked to someone about this episode, and they had a really interesting idea where Thrawn comes out with a big Star Destroyer and just destroys Moff Gideon at the end.
Interesting.
Like, to keep the plans, or keep the child away from Mando. And I thought that would have been a very interesting idea to bring. At least bring him in if they're going to name drop him.
I think it's Thrawn's getting live action, right? He has to be, because in the Ahsoka series.
The Ahsoka, also I think Ahsoka, as much as I liked her, I think she was out of place, and it was just there to make another series and to give him a Beskar spear.
Yeah, it's all like plot. Like if this, what's the word for it? Like if something doesn't happen, it's plot. What is it?
Plot devices.
Plot devices. Yeah. Like that's the only reason they were there for the dark. Like
you guys remember the episode 9, all the like the MacGuffins that they had to get, like the knife that had to perfectly line up with the Death Star.
I hated that. Yeah.
And like the pyramid that they had to plug into the ship. Like that was so stupid, and that's what this whole show is.
Just going on side quests.
Pretty much. Like, when is the main quest coming? That's what we need. If it had been about Mandalore and the destroyed planet and them trying to, like, rebuild as a people, that'd be interesting, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's about a little baby Yoda that is there to sell merchandise.
Well, he's not there anymore, so at least we don't have him.
Well, hopefully he'll be...
He might come back, but...
But he probably will come back.
He has to come back.
The first 3 episodes of season 2 are like... He's almost died a bunch of times, but he's no closer to the end goal.
Yeah. I just love how Mando can just throw himself out for a sacrifice and it means absolutely nothing. Because we know his armor is just fine. Yeah. Like when he does the dragon, it's like, oh. I thought you said it melts.
Yeah.
Which I guess that makes sense on why Boba survived the pit. But still, like, there needs to be some tension. I could get blasters, I could get behind that. But lightsabers? Come on. If that armor is so powerful, why didn't they use it in the past with people like General Grievous or like with like extra Special Republic troopers or something?
And I guess they can say the thing where it's like it wasn't that common, and that's why all the people in like Death Watch had steel armor.
But they had mixed with Beskar, didn't they?
I think some of them did, yeah.
Like maybe the because Mandalorians used to be pretty united. They used to have their home planet. Maybe after it got glassed, Beskar became more accessible because it just got scattered everywhere.
Yeah.
But that depends on when the planet got glassed.
So I think what's happened was I think the Mandalorian, like the Empire took in mind all of it, and that's why they say it got taken during the Purge.
Yeah, wasn't that during the Rebels episode?
Technically it's after. Technically it's after.
No, wasn't
they all get like killed with Sabine's thing.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
But there's another purge after that. So you know Bo-Katan? There's a missing gap. So she and all the Mandalorians that go to Mandalorian to attack the Empire or something, and we don't know what happens. So somehow she loses the saber to Moff Gideon, and so that'll probably be in a different something. It has to be something revealed.
Like we've said before, I think that Darksaber thing is really dumb. I think either Sabine should have fought Sabine for it in Rebels, which actually would have made that show interesting, but instead of a joke of a show, or they should have just given it to her, because obviously she's the ruler of Mandalore. And I think we should also show how Bo-Katan is stronger than Mando, in my opinion. I think they should show that.
I think they're gonna go with that. Mando is stronger. Yeah. I think that's what
I know they want to do that.
Stronger is the armor.
But yeah, exactly. It's kind of like the Boba Fett and Cad Bane duel. The only reason Boba Fett wins is because of armor, and that's why he has that dent in his helmet. And I think it's really stupid. And I get why, because obviously Boba's in the original trilogy, but I feel like it's a very convenient excuse, especially since they're pushing the strong female lead. This is the perfect opportunity for that. Yeah. Since Bo-Katan is such a great character already, they might as well use her.
Maybe she will be.
Instead of making like
a
crappy character like Rey, who nobody cares about.
I bet in season 3 she's gonna be a big part though, because of like just that there's no more Baby Yoda, and I think their theme, the only plot, could be wrong, but the only plot I think that's continuing over is that they're trying to take back Mandalore.
I really hope that's the case, because I think that planet history is very interesting,
I want to see on live action.
Especially with me, my favorite Sith from the Old Republic being Nihilus, and that's where he was originated.
Really? I didn't even know.
Well,
was it Malachor? Malachor?
Oh yeah, it was that one.
Yeah.
Where the whole armies got decimated and he somehow survived.
Yeah.
Which I thought was great.
Planet of Mandalore glass though?
It's all sand. And so
it got destroyed during a civil war.
Yeah.
In like the It's Legends though, isn't that?
Yeah, so they have like little cities, like little bubbles.
Yeah, in like the Clone Wars, they show like these cities, but there's like bubbles, like where you can survive, pretty much, in a otherwise wasteland of a planet.
I did like the line though when she said like I've heard your voice before, kind
I-
of dissing Boba.
I did like that because the clones took over Mandalorian eventually. Even though they helped in Clone Wars, they obviously joined the Empire and took over, which I think is very.
But I didn't like
interesting.
that Boba Fett lost to that one girl, just because he's like
well,
5
it
years
was
older.
technically a tie, but like, I think Boba should be definitely more of a skilled warrior than her.
No.
I mean, if the legend books are true, and Jango actually killed 5 Jedi with his bare hands, I'm pretty
Boba needs
sure
some
that
more,
Boba
yeah.
would have some of that. with
Maybe
him.
do you think Boba Fett's gonna be in shape for the next one, the next show?
Maybe.
Like he didn't get.
I,
Kinda
I,
like,
I didn't mind it too much because I could suspend my disbelief for Boba.
I didn't like. I don't know. I'm kind of used to his original look. I don't like the black cloak. Like I like his like. I don't know, just like full armor suit. Like like the
I did
full.
notice that was kind of different about him. He had like less stuff, less
Yeah,
details on
Yeah.
his
but
look.
that's because most of it probably got
Yeah.
is in the Sarlacc pit or with Jabba's.
Like
who sold it.
I'm okay that his like armor kind of got redone, but like the painted.
I like the new
but
look.
The new paint, yeah.
I do like the new paint.
But I do like the scuffs on it though. It did look kind of cool. But
I'm really interested to see this new show with Boba. I think this is the best time to be a Star Wars fan
of all the shows,
with all these shows. And the funny thing is, Boba wasn't even introduced in
It
that
wasn't.
big showcase.
no, it wasn't. It was probably just for this.
Which is funny,
Nice.
because I think there's gonna be more shows than just what was introduced.
Oh,
in
there
it.
definitely is, because like
Because
they're.
IGN even released a few new ones that were supposedly. in the
So
works.
there's a lot of the shows that they were supposedly working on just got like kind of confirmed. Like there was rumors of Orlando show back in the day.
Yeah.
And there's the only ones that haven't been released like officially was they were working on one with Maul and Kira. You know, because
Yeah.
they were gonna do that. So
I think
I'm
it'd
okay
be
with that.
interesting, but I
It's
think
not.
Maul should die.
Well, he
And
does
just be
die.
well, I know
Yeah.
that he does die.
But you mean, like, not use him?
I mean not use him because his story is complete.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
I mean, unless they want to set up
there's
like
that bit-
Kira as a new leader of Crimson, like
Yeah.
because he does leave.
yeah,
so we
he
could-
obviously leaves in Rebels.
So we could almost make it like she's like the crime leader.
But
and that would
still, I
introduce-
don't know. Maul has been milked the hell out of. I mean, in episode 1, he definitely needed to be brought back because
He didn't do
nobody
anything.
knew what he was.
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah,
knew
he was
what
killed.
he
He
was.
was
He
killed.
just died.
Yeah.
He was just a plot device, which is one of my biggest problems with the first 2 prequels. Is that even though I love them because I grew up with them,
Yeah.
they are cringy, and they introduce characters that nobody cares about unless you bring the Clone Wars into it.
What percent of fans do you think that watched Mandalorian has seen Clone Wars and all that? Because I know a lot of people that watch this show.
I'd say
don't.
like 10%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because-
Mandalorian definitely appeals.
To a random, like my dad
a
watches
wider
it.
fan base.
Yeah.
Because even Chase, you haven't watched all the Clone Wars, right?
No, I
You
didn't.
just
No.
watched them as a kid, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't think that doesn't it have like one of the biggest like openings?
Yeah, I
Like,
think
didn't
it was like one of the most popular shows that was
Mhm.
going on, and it was also like all the girls like Baby Yoda, even though they don't even know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I get appealing to a wide fan base, but I don't know. Just Mando is a very fetch questy show, and I'd rather watch a Clone Wars episode.
I
anytime.
think season 1 was a lot stronger.
Yeah, like
I think so,
definitely in
too.
season 1.
It was
there's
a lot.
more.
It wasn't as question. It was still had that, but
It's-
it wasn't as
it had fetch
like-
quest, but it was also new.
because they would go to the prison. They broke those guys out. He went to the village. I know that wasn't the strongest.
That was my
episode.
favorite episode.
The village,
Where,
you like
no,
the-
where they
They went
break
to-
the.
that's
dudes
my
up.
favorite episode still when they broke out the people. But then at least they changed it up. Like they changed the episodes up, and the finale was a little bit.
Yeah, I did like the finale too, where the
This-
IG sacrifices himself. I thought that was nice.
This season I think had the weakest episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like. I mean the spider one's fine, but I feel it was more filler. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of
It
it you
was
could just cut
definitely
out.
filler.
Most of it was filler.
The only thing that stopped it from being like 100% filler is the fact that they almost died. If they
Mhm.
would have just visited that planet and
Yeah.
killed a bunch of spiders, then it
Yeah.
just would
I
have
mean, but like I knew that they weren't. They were just gonna.
They also
blow
did
through
that
it,
to
be
introduce
honest.
the New Republic people
Mhm.
for their new show.
I
Basically,
feel
this
like
season was
this is just a plug for a bunch of shows.
It is.
Because they're bringing in Ahsoka, this Ahsoka show, the
Ahsoka.
New Republic show, the Boba show, and it's just a big plug.
So you know what
for
they're
the-
all gonna do, right?
just
It's
a
gonna
big
do
butter.
MCU. They're all gonna combine. Kathleen Kennedy said to make one crossover, like one major crossover.
So like the Avengers,
Yeah.
they're just gonna start a ton of different movies and shows.
I
Yeah,
think-
and then they're gonna those series
In
are
my
all gonna
opinion,
cross over.
I think Star Wars is built for that. because it's so big.
Yeah, I
And
do
it's
like
such
that.
a
I do like the
vast
TV show.
galaxy that I think that if you make like 10 TV shows and you cross them all together into like kind of one thing, I think that's a very smart idea to do. I'm just saying that you shouldn't just be plugging them shamelessly over and over again
Yeah.
and making them just filler episodes. Like, what was the point of visiting Ahsoka? So she could tell you to go to this rock and meditate? And then introduce her new show with Thrawn?
That's basically
Like, that's literally
They're
what it
just
is.
like, oh, we have Ahsoka and Thrawn's still alive.
Yes, I definitely agree with season 1 being stronger, but I think Clone Wars is definitely more of an adult show, and the ironic thing is it's built for kids. But you literally see people getting stabbed through in Clone Wars, which is funny.
Yeah.
You see people getting stabbed through, killed mercilessly. Maul literally murders a whole village.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, the plot is definitely a lot more, like, look at that. It's definitely a lot more, like, not as, like, cinematic or as, oh, look at me.
Yeah.
Because even though it's animated, they don't make everything flashy. Like, Mando's armor in the second season is flashy.
Yeah.
Everything in Clone Wars, at least from what I remember, it's kind of gritty.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I
it's-
love about Clone Wars. I can still watch a lot of those episodes today,
Sure, bro.
which is funny because I would rather watch again my favorite Clone Wars episodes, like the Maul arcs, which are amazing. I think those are the best Star Wars media ever.
Okay.
Than watch anything Mando has produced.
So going on to that, what are your thoughts on Bad Batch? Like, are you happy for that or?
I think it can be a good show, but things like Wrecker,
I don't
for
like.
me,
I really don't like
slow
Wrecker's
it down.
character. Yeah, it kind of brings it
Because,
down for the
like,
other audience.
I get that Clone Wars has always had like a
childish.
character or two that are like the child, you know, like how episode 1 had Jar Jar Binks, which people thought George thought would be great, you know, to bring in kids.
He's the key
but-
to all of this.
Yeah, Jar Jar's the key to everything. But I just don't like Wrecker at all. I just don't. And the rest of the Bad Batch, it just seemed childish. Very childish. Like, and I get Clone Wars as a kid's show first. But from what I'd seen from Clone Wars before, it was just not good, comparatively speaking. And a lot of people said it was an average episode, but they just tried to do too much with those episodes in
I
season
think
7.
honestly they should have done better on season 7, because they didn't. There's a lot better arcs. I understand they had to do the sisters arc
Yeah.
to introduce Ahsoka, which they could, right? I mean, they could have
They could've
obviously
built
done.
it
They
better,
could have
though.
done better, obviously, but I feel like they could have done the Cad Bane arc.
I wanted to see the
So-
Citadel and the Cad Bane arc
There was
because
some-
it shows Grievous, which I love as an actual villain, which is not shown in any other piece of canon Star Wars media.
Yeah.
I just hate how Grievous has become this scavengy coward from what he used to be.
They actually announced a new show or a new like mini series today.
For what?
It's only gonna be in Chinese.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, I sent that to you.
Is it gonna have subtitles and it's gonna be available in the States?
I don't know. I think it's only gonna be available.
I'm actually looking forward to the anime.
The anime I maybe look.
I don't mean to seem like a weeb or anything.
No,
but,
I think
like
that's
I think
really
the
cool.
animes are cool. Like I think it could be cool for the fight styles.
I almost wish they would have done like a full series. Like they should have done like a High Republic one.
yeah
anime.
because then they could have had some cool lightsaber stuff and
Because there's actually like people back then.
Yeah, the anime is definitely the one good thing about it is that it's going to allow a lot more creative freedom.
yeah that's what I think about is the good thing about animated series for Star Wars is that you can show things that people can't do
Yeah.
without it looking like crap like
Which just makes
CGI.
it a lot cheaper.
Yeah, and it makes it a lot cheaper, so they can easily turn a profit on that.
Yeah.
Just like Clone Wars is beautiful, and I bet you it's a lot cheaper than like rendering and CGI things or
Yeah, it is. It's
I do
a
like
style. They did
the
improve
Mando
the CGI.
effects.
Yeah, Mando effect. Mando
And the
did look
anime-
good.
The anime will be 100% two-dimensional, right?
Yeah,
Probably, yeah. I really don't like like the art style Resistance. I don't like. I'm not. a
I
big fan
don't
of
like that either. It just is a Disney Channel show. it looks
Yeah,
like.
yes.
I
Basically.
liked the 2003 Clone Wars, how that looked.
I mean, you used to watch those. Yeah.
The 2003 Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Except for Yoda's look. I don't know. Yoda
Yeah,
Yoda pisses
with
me
his
off.
really big eyes.
Yeah,
and
it
kinda-
pisses me off. But the rest of it is good.
I did like the clones. In
I
it.
even love Grievous's style. Oh my god, Grievous just kills like 4 Jedi.
The
all-
clones in
all
that
at
were
once.
the clones in that were a little different, but I did like the way
I liked how they
they were like
looked.
kind of like special forces, and they were just like orders.
Yeah, then they just did it
They look a
everything
lot more
fast.
organized.
Mm-hmm.
I like both the 2003 and the 2008 series because the 2008 is better for character development and like actually building relationships and humanizing the clones. Well, the 2003 is just cool for its action.
Yeah.
I really find. Well, 2008 has some cool action. It does not have the same caliber.
Did you ever watch Samurai Jack?
I've not.
I've never really
I
watched it.
almost watched it. I got like this close.
But the guy who made that
Get this close.
Just this close.
What I didn't know about the 2003 Clone Wars, I guess it was on Cartoon Network.
It was only
from
mini
2000
shorts.
Yeah,
it was
the
like
mini shorts.
They wanted to do it like it was like 30 seconds, but the guy got him to make them like 60 seconds. So
Yeah, they were just like minute shorts between it, which I think is a smart idea. But I just think that George Lucas just, as much as I love him, he just didn't handle the prequels correctly. There's so much, he could have done so much better, I feel like. Because I really love the story, but just the directing, like Hayden Christensen isn't a bad actor.
No.
It's just bad directing. He doesn't tell him what to feel. He's not.
Well, I think he did good
telling-
feeling. I think he did good at feelings in episode
I
3.
feel- yeah, I feel like
but
he
I think
did
his
good.
I think the main thing
The
was
dialogue was really clunky.
a lot of the dialogue in the original trilogy was also really bad, but they changed it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of it. If you
But
watch
everyone,
interviews,
since George Lucas is such a big star, they didn't
They
want to
didn't wanna- they
actually
can't change it.
interfere with him.
because back then it was like all the like Alec Guinness who did Obi-Wan. He changed like almost all
Yeah,
his
he made
lines.
he made fun of George.
He would like,
Lucas.
this doesn't make any sense. Make
Yeah.
my lines make sense.
And that's just the one problem with George Lucas. He can tell a great story. Even the politics could have been more interesting. Because as a kid,
I
I would
never
always
understood
skip the politics.
I always waited for the Naboo battle, and the Starfighter one.
That's why I never liked episode 1 as a kid. I always liked
Oh,
episode 2.
pod racing too. Yeah. that was cool.
Because in episode 2, you got that big battle at Geonosis at
But I
the
always
end,
got
and
bored out.
loved
I got
that.
bored out though whenever they were like this,
Me too.
like Anakin and little Padme's little thing.
They could have made it a lot more interesting. Because even Clone Wars politics I like. Because they actually like it actually brings them to a
I need
place
to
and it
notice
gives
it. I
them-
need to rewatch it because like Umbara, I guess something happens to the Umbaran senator, and that's why because Umbara in the very original the very beginning Clone Wars is on a Republic,
Yeah.
but they do something to the Umbarans, and I guess in the show that makes them go to separatists.
Yes, I love that.
and that shows
It's
that
just
they have to go to war.
everything
It's like
connects.
it's kind of cool.
And that's one of the best arcs ever.
Umbaran.
Yeah, it's one of the best pieces of Star Wars media. I'd rather watch that than even the original trilogy. I mean, although I never was a huge fan of the original trilogy. Like, I love it.
When I
I'm
watch
not
it
as
now,
attached to
I'm
it.
getting more attached to it.
I'm not as attached to it as the prequel stuff because as a kid I loved prequels, and I grew up with Battlefront 2 and would always want to play as the clones, and
I
that
know,
was
yeah.
just how it was.
Like the rebels to me aren't cool. Like their outfits, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's always when I was like playing the
I
Battlefront game.
always thought about the
'Cause you can play-
stormtroopers.
stormtroopers are clones, yeah.
Yeah, the stormtroopers were always cooler.
I didn't want to be the droids.
I was fine with being the droids. I just didn't want to be the rebels. Unless I
They're
was a
terrorists.
Bothan spy.
They're terrorists.
The Bothan spy was always cool.
Yeah.
He was a cool character. But that should conclude our Star Wars segment.
Yeah.